What if I told you the Atlanta Falcons might finally have the offensive line to take over the NFC, and it's not just talent, it's brotherhood? A new center, a veteran leader, and a group of linemen turning training camp into a sleepover. But behind the jokes and Xbox battles is the kind of chemistry that builds dynasties. And the man everyone's yelling about? He might just be the final key. All right, Falcons fans, let's get into it, because there's a lot to talk about. Now, I already know some of you are going to yell at me for this next part, and that's fine. Go ahead, yell all you want, but I still believe it. I believe in him. And no, you're not changing my mind. Not yet. Because I think Michael Penix Jr. is going to unlock something this team has never had before. Now, before we dive into all that, let's talk about what's happening right now in camp. The Atlanta Falcons have only had a few practices, but already, this roster feels different. Deeper, stronger, more balanced. And I'm serious when I say this team finally has a mix of young energy and veteran leadership. It feels like they've got a real foundation now, not just talent on paper. Guys are coming together fast. The chemistry is building. The energy is up. And maybe the best news so far? The offensive line, the heart of this entire operation, is starting to gel. That's not just hype, it's real. And guess who's at the center of it all? Chris Lindstrom, the quiet beast. He didn't just bring power to camp, he brought a pillow and an Xbox. And yeah, that sounds like a joke, but it actually means something. These guys are rooming together, living together, grinding together. That matters. Lindstrom is bunking with center Ryan Newsel, guard Matthew Bergeron, and right tackle Caleb McGarry. That's 4 guys on the line, all in one room, building trust, playing games, talking shop. And no, they didn't bring the new college football 26 game, because apparently Newsel would destroy all of them at it. That's real team bonding. And let me just say, I love this. This is what great O-lines are made of. Not just talent, but connection. Now let's talk about the only big question on this line, the center spot. Ryan Newsel wasn't drafted. He came out of Appalachian State, fought for every snap, and now he's in line to take over for Drew Dalman. And look, Dalman was solid in run blocking, no denying that. But when it came to pass protection, it was rough. And in today's NFL, your center has to protect the heart of the pocket. That's non-negotiable. But here's why I'm optimistic. The rest of this line is straight up elite. Jake Matthews is still holding it down at left tackle. Bergeron is growing fast. Caleb McGarry brings the fire. And with Lindstrom right next to Newsel, that might be enough to lift the entire interior. I would put this group, Matthews, Bergeron, Newsel, Lindstrom, and McGarry, against any offensive line in the NFL. That's how much I believe in their ceiling. Newsel is the only unknown, but he's got every reason and every support to succeed. This could be the start of something special. Falcons fans, I need to hear from you. How confident are you in this offensive line right now? Drop a number from 1 to 10 in the comments and tell me, is Ryan Newsel the right man at center? Or is that still our biggest weakness? And here's where it gets really interesting. Ryan Newsel isn't just in a position to survive, he might actually thrive between 2 beasts on that offensive line. On one side, you've got all-pro guard Chris Lindstrom. On the other, young, powerful Matthew Bergeron. That's not just a support system, that's a launch pad. And listen, this offensive line has to be elite. Not average, not okay. Elite. Because there's way too much riding on their performance. Let's break it down. First, you've got a young quarterback under center. Whether you believe in Penix or not, he needs time. Time to read the field. Time to stay calm in the pocket. And most of all, time to make smart decisions without running for his life. That starts with protection up front. Second, if you give Bijan Robinson a clean lane, he's gone. That man doesn't need a big hole, just a crack of daylight, and he's a home run threat. and a dominant offensive line can unlock every ounce of that magic. Third, and this is big, Darnell Mooney just got hurt. Shoulder injury. He laid out for a pass and came down hard. They're saying 3 to 4 weeks. Best case scenario, he's back for week 1. But nobody is making promises. That changes everything. Now, the Falcons have to lean on Ray McCloud, Drake London, and the man that everyone wants to write off, Kyle Pitts. And I get it. I know people have doubts. But I'm telling you, I still believe Kyle Pitts can be special. I still believe he can dominate if they let him work downfield. With Mooney out, this might finally be the chance for Pitts to step in as the second weapon this offense badly needs. Not just a tight end, a game changer. And let's not forget, Mooney was no scrub. He finished as the 36th highest graded receiver out of 133, according to Puff. That's solid. That's legit WR2 material. Drake London? He ranked 7th. That duo was going to be deadly. Now, it's all shifting. And here's another name you have to keep an eye on, DJ Chark. The Falcons just signed him. And if you forgot who he was, let me remind you, DJ Chark was once one of the most athletic wide receivers to ever come out of college. Straight out of LSU. His relative athletic score? 9.94 out of 10. That's freak of nature level athleticism. He ran like the wind, jumped out the gym, and had scouts drooling. But injuries, especially those ankles, have held him back for years. He just hasn't been able to finish a full season. But guess what? If he stays healthy, the Falcons might have found a secret weapon nobody's talking about. Do you still believe in Kyle Pitts the way I do? Or is it time to move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and while you're there, rate your confidence in this Falcons offense on a scale from 1 to 10. Let's see who's riding with this team, and who's jumping ship. Now listen, if the Falcons need DJ Chark to step in while Mooney heals up, he might actually be able to do it. He's not the most polished route runner. He's not going to run circles around corners. But man, the guy is fast, still fast. That deep speed is real. He's not a WR1, not even close. But for a few weeks? To stretch the field and keep defenses honest? He can help. He did that exact thing in Detroit. Just quietly went to work, trying to prove he still had it. And you know what? He kind of does. But let's be honest, none of that works if the offensive line isn't holding up. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. A great offensive line is the engine of everything. Everything. It makes average quarterbacks look good. It makes decent receivers look explosive. And it can take a running back like Bijan and turn him into a nightmare. Look around the league. Joe Burrow is fighting for his life in Cincinnati every week because of that line. Miami? All that speed, all that talent. None of it works when the front five can't block. That's the fear here in Atlanta. And unfortunately, they've already had some injury setbacks. Linebacker Troy Anderson, who had so much potential, has landed on the PUP list again. It's heartbreaking. This guy just cannot stay healthy. You root for him, but it's setback after setback. But there's some hope too. Bralon Trice is finally back. After missing his entire rookie year with a knee injury, he's returned, and head coach Raheem Morris is fired up. He said he was excited about Trice last year, and he still believes he can make a real impact now. That's a major boost to the defense. But the story that fans really can't ignore? Kyle Pitts. Yes, that Kyle Pitts. You can roll your eyes. You can say he's been a bust. But hold on a second. We're hearing he looks legit at camp. He's healthy, running clean routes, making plays. And the coaching staff? They're feeding him the ball. With Mooney hurt, with a new quarterback under center, this could be Pitt's moment to finally shine again. And remember, this guy was a top 5 pick for a reason. He's too talented to just fade into nothing. He's lining up everywhere, in the slot, outside, even in line. They're moving him all over the place. If this offensive line holds up and Pitts gets going, Atlanta could have two matchup nightmares on offense. Bijan in the backfield and Pitts across the middle. If Kyle Pitts finally breaks out this year, where would you rank the Falcons' offense in the NFC? Top 5? Middle of the pack? Or do you still think it's all hype? Drop your prediction in the comments. I want to see what y'all really think. Let me tell you something real quick. If you play fantasy football, you better not sleep on Kyle Pitts. This dude has the chance to shock everyone. He's healthy. He's motivated. And for the first time in a long time, he's finally getting a full training camp to get in rhythm with his quarterback. That changes everything. He's going late in drafts, like way too late. That's wild. Because if you grab him now before he starts lighting it up in preseason, if he even plays much, you're getting a serious steal. People forget how much it matters to actually go through all of training camp. When a player misses most of it, they start the season slow. They're not in game shape. They don't have chemistry. That's exactly what might happen with Darnell Mooney. Mooney's still getting healthy. And if things go as expected, he might not be back at full speed until week 4 or 5. That means the window is wide open, for Kyle Pitts to lock in his spot as a go-to weapon in this offense. By the time Mooney's fully back, it might already be too late. Pitts could have already carved out a huge role. He might be the guy this team leans on early, especially in the red zone and across the middle. So yeah, take the chance. Get him in your fantasy draft before the rest of your league wakes up. This might finally be the year we stop asking, what happened to Kyle Pitts? And start saying, he's back. Let's hear it in the comments. Are you betting on Kyle Pitts this year, or are you still burned by the past? Would you draft him late, or pass him up? Be honest, drop your draft strategy below and let's talk.